The year is done, and as always, there are too many games to keep up with. It's impossible to play them all. Chances are, you missed some bangers. So I'm here to tell you all of my personal favorites from 2024. I played quite a few games this year. I completed about 60. All of the ones in red are games that were released in 2024. The ones in purple were also released this year, but I either didn't finish them or they're like a multiplayer thing. So with that out of the way, let's just jump right into Children of the Sun is a really stylish sniper puzzle game. You play as a girl trying to destroy the cult that destroyed her family. In each level you only have one bullet, which you need to redirect with your psychic powers to clear out entire camps of enemies. Each level plays out like a puzzle, finding the optimal route to chain headshots, blow up cars, and rack up a high score. You're incentivized to move quickly to keep your combo going and climb the leaderboard. It took me just over 3 hours to beat, but if you're the type of person who likes to go for high scores, you'll get a lot of replayability out of it. All of that paired with a killer art style and creepy flashback cutscenes make for a damn cool game. Hamster Hunter is buggy as hell. The single player is pretty bare bones. There isn't too much to do, the ending is anticlimactic, it's really short. I played this game with like 7 friends and it was so much fun. The basic gameplay loop is shooting hamsters and then either selling their meat or putting them in your machines. And that's really it, you basically just mess around with the machines and see what they do. We were having a great time even though the game just didn't work at all. We frequently couldn't use our weapons, got kicked from the game, and we had everything unlocked at the start, so there was nothing for us to aim for. So why is the game on my top 10? It sounds a little bit crazy, but out of all the games in this video, I found Hamster Hunter the most inspiring. It made me inspired to try and make a game myself of a similar scope. And I did start making a game, but that's a topic for a future video. Rabbit and Steel is a boss rush roguelike inspired by MMO raiding, based around areas of the screen that you can and can't stand on. While attacking the boss, you have to follow different combinations of instructions, like match colors, stretch the tether, keep moving, stop moving, spread out, stick together, while also dodging a ton of other obstacles and things that are trying to get in your way. It's hectic as hell, and at first can be really hard to keep up with everything on screen, but after playing for a bit, everything becomes surprisingly readable. If you want to win, you'll need to have good communication, positioning, and teamwork. You can play with 1 to 4 players, but I'd recommend not playing by yourself, because each additional player makes the game that much more chaotic, which is a good thing. Once you beat the game on normal, you might feel like a pro, but try out the hard difficulty and you'll be humbled. Isles of Sea and Sky is a game that looks like a 2D Zelda, but it's actually not a Zelda-like. It is a Sokoban game. If you haven't heard of that, don't worry, I hadn't either. Basically, you push blocks around. Each room is a puzzle where you have to collect various items to progress through the game. There are different types of blocks to push, other fun objects which interact with the blocks, and items that help you push blocks in new ways. They're really fun puzzles, and it feels really good to figure out the solution. I liked how each screen usually has more than one puzzle, using all of the same elements but in a different way. It makes for a really dense map where you want to come back to the same rooms later and solve the puzzles that you couldn't before. There's a really nice sense of progression throughout the game as you unlock new powers and make your way to new islands. There are also a lot of secrets. Picayune Dreams is Vampire Survivors but good. That's what I said on my second channel earlier in the year. I might have been a bit too harsh on Vampire Survivors, but my point still stands. This game is good. An intense bullet hell with a dope visual style, a fire-ass breakcore soundtrack, creepy RPG story flashbacks, epic boss fights, and an actual ending. And that is the thing I liked the most. The game didn't go on forever and turn into a tedious monotony. It's fun, you get stronger, you beat the game, and then you're done. If you want to watch my full video about it, that's on my second channel linked in the description, which you should subscribe to.
Why is she doing this?
They're watching.
Why doesn't she turn coming?
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is one of my favorite games. It has some really great ideas and features which make the game a truly unique experience that I would recommend to anybody. Hellblade 2 is the moviest game of all time, and the best looking game that I've ever played. By that, I mean the most hyper-realistic. These graphics are insane, absolutely incredible, and surprisingly, the game ran really well on my machine. I can't seem to run Cyberpunk or Starfield very well, but Hellblade 2 ran amazingly. Now, I don't think that super ultra realistic graphics are something that every game should strive for. I don't think graphics should even really matter at all, but holy shit, it is just unbelievable here, and probably the biggest thing that the game has going for it. The cinematic feeling throughout the game is just so cool. No HUD, no tutorials, no pop-ups, nothing. Everything seamlessly flows from gameplay to cutscene to combat to create a roller coaster with no interruptions. Beside my minor issues with the story and the actual gameplay being pretty lackluster, the game is worth playing simply for the experience alone, because there is no other game available right now which parallels what Hellblade 2 does. In 5 or 10 years, when technology advances, we might have a bunch of similar games, and then this one won't seem so impressive. But in 2024, there is nothing else like it. Ninja Theory are performing at a level that nobody else is. Both games are available on Game Pass, so you can try them out without paying full price. Big recommendation from me. Mouthwashing is a 2-hour horror game which is very discomforting. It's about a crew of 5 people on a space voyage who have crashed into an asteroid. Now they have to survive until the end of their trip on their busted up ship. It is not an optimal situation to be in. The stakes are high, so there is a little bit of tension amongst the crew. The story is told non-chronologically, constantly jumping forwards and backwards through time. It's a short game, so I don't want to go into detail about the plot, but it is really captivating and will make you really uncomfortable. Before going into it, I thought the game might have been a bit overhyped, but no, it definitely deserves all of the praise. These are the type of games that I love.
Tekken 8!
I was not planning on playing Tekken 8, because I'd never played a fighting game before, and I thought it would stay like that forever. They just seemed so daunting to get into, learning all those combos, frame data, especially in Tekken where every character has over 100 moves. But when Bandai Namco gave me a free copy, thank you Bandai Namco, I happily gave it a try. I picked the pretty girl and Lily has been my main ever since. I still haven't beaten the story, but that's not the important part. Fighting real people is. And fight I did. I watched a lot of videos, I trained, I learned combos, I climbed the ranks, and I felt myself getting better. Which is really the best part, that sense of self-improvement. What I didn't expect from the game, and the fighting game community as a whole, is how nice and chill everyone is. For a game about 1v1 fighting, I thought people would be more toxic, but everybody's just worrying about themselves, focusing on how they can improve and become better than they used to be. Which is really motivating. Seeing everybody else work so hard to improve makes me want to get better as well. I loved the feeling of learning new things and beating opponents that I know I wouldn't have been able to before. A couple of friends and I actually went to an in-person tournament, and that was really fun. I somehow managed to win a couple of games and I didn't come dead last. If you've never tried a fighting game before, I really recommend trying it out. It's not as daunting as you think, and the feeling of getting better is really addicting. Satisfactory is my favorite factory building game, sorry Factorio, and I already played the game a few years ago over lockdown, which I talked about in this video, but now the game is fully released, so I started a new world and got sucked in all over again. It's one of those games you can just play forever, and this time I tried to make a couple of factories which actually look nice. I spent many hours on this one for my oil production, and I'm pretty proud of it. I haven't even finished the game yet. I got to the end of phase 3 but had to take a break so I could play some other games, like... Web Fishing is a fishing game / online chat room. It's a really chill vibes type of game that you play in the background while you talk with friends. Never is the second game from Nomada Studio, the creators of Grease, one of my favorite games. When I found out they had the same artist in charge of creative direction and the same group doing the music, I knew this game would be a banger. Cryptmaster is a typing-based dungeon crawler. Still Wakes the Deep is a horror game on a collapsing oil rig, where everybody is very Scottish. I wish I could play Buckshot Roulette in real life because it's super fun for the 25-minute runtime. "1000 Times Resist" is one of the best narrative experiences that you will find in gaming, and that's why it is my game of the year for 2024. I don't even know how to say what I want to say about this game. I can't describe all of my feelings about it, which I think is a common occurrence for a lot of people, because 1000 Times Resist is so incredibly dense. It is a game about everything, packed to the brim with so many different themes and ideas. It's about oppression, generational trauma, religion, time, the Hong Kong protests, COVID, forgiveness, leaving things behind while always moving forward, and resisting, and more. Yet it never feels bloated or underdeveloped in any area. It feels like one cohesive experience, and a really enthralling one. The game is about a society of clones who were all created from the All-Mother, and over the course of the game you jump through time, living through her memories. It is so much more than that, but I won't say any more. It tells this story while also looking really cool. The art direction is insane. There are so many incredible shots in the game, and being able to walk through these environments is something that a movie or a book telling the same story wouldn't be able to replicate. The graphics obviously cannot compare to Hellblade 2, but depending on who you ask, this game looks even better. The voice acting is one of the things that make 1000 Times Resist stand out to me. At first, I found it a bit shocking, because when a game looks like this, you might expect a typical anime dub style of voice acting. Ha! Praise the All-Mother! But that is not what you get here. Instead, all of the dialogue is read so calmly, nearly whispering at times. It makes everything feel so intimate, and when the writing is as good as it is, it creates so many memorable scenes. It's just one of those games that are truly one of a kind. Something you play and think, I've never played anything like this before. I feel lucky to have been able to play this game. I really believe it is that good. 1000 Times Resist deserves merit for everything that it does, and you should play it now. So, 2024 is done. Pretty good year if I must say so. And that also means I've nearly been doing this whole YouTube thing for 2 years, which might sound like a lot, but I still feel super new to all of this. I'm definitely still trying to find the exact MyGameOpinions style of videos, writing, thumbnails, and whatnot. I've not quite settled into a niche just yet, but you know, we'll see what happens. In 2025, I want to upload more videos more frequently. Hopefully, I'll end up making more than 9. I also want to make videos that are less negative in tone. I feel like too often I end up making videos that just sound like I'm complaining about stuff and I'm a grumpy person, which is not true. I don't want to be seen as a negative Andy, so I'm gonna try make more positive videos in general. If you want to stick around for that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, leave a like if you did, and let me know in the comments what the best games you played this year were. If you like what I do and want to support me going into 2025, take a look at the Patreon, links in the description. Thank you to my patrons, Liam Blackford, Rian, and Vmon for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching.